ho, 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 hold on a minute. It's time for another episode of Go M.A.D with Doug and Brad. And I have to tell you that we are excited here today because, yes, it is a wonderful Christmas episode.
We love Christmas.
We do, and we're going to be talking about how to have just maybe your highest impact, most make a difference family Christmas yet.
The best family Christmas ever.
But before that, Doug, I am so excited you are ready to premiere our brand new Go M.A.D theme song. You've been working on it on the keys there, and I am excited to hear. Now, we are convinced here. Everyone just listen close because we are convinced, just like Schroeder and the Peanuts, that this will sound like a full grand piano when he plays this. We're ready.
You ready? It's Christmas time. Getting out the Grinch balloon in the front yard.
So I maybe we'll just cut that in post. We'll fix that in post, right, Jesse?
Fix what? Verse 2 next week.
What's to fix?
Can I say something?
Oh, yes.
Quick here. I text Brad about half an hour ago, and I say, Brad, do you think I should wear a Santa hat? Would it be too weird to wear a Santa hat? His answer, I quote, "It might look a little goofy."
Was that what I say goofy?
Could you please tune in to the YouTube video of this episode and see what Brad's wearing?
Okay. Touche.
I mean,
Christmas touche. That is okay.
My hat
that is
would have
pretty
been
funny.
A 3.
That's. I was afraid it would clash. I would afraid it would clash.
Are either of you guys good at putting up lights? Christmas
actually,
lights?
We tried something new this year.
You guys
I didn't
always
do it.
Look so
Sarah did it, and they actually stayed on the house, so that was good.
I wish I could do that. I stink at this. Let's just say it's a Christmas tradition for me to stink at putting up Christmas lights. You know that guy Clark Griswold? You know that guy Clark Griswold from Christmas Vacation who is awful at putting up lights? That guy's better than I am.
Wow. Well, he did use a lot of staples. He used a lot of staples. We are gonna. You mentioned traditions, and actually, it's interesting because as we dive into Christmas now, one of the things that probably you're listening to this and thinking, well, what about? We have our family Christmas. We have it set and everything. We want to challenge you a little bit to even think a little more outside the box with a Make a Difference Christmas. We all have our traditions. We all have them. And
if you don't, you should.
I don't know if you guys have noticed that on the interwebs, there's opinions about Christmas.
I really think you're wrong on that.
What? Fair. It is
the way you're
amazing.
making it sound. The way you're making it sound is that some people, when you bring up Christmas online, think it's evil and it comes from pagan origins. It's almost as if you're saying then that people respond to that, saying you're crazy. No, it's not.
And everything's
fine.
From
Germany, and everything's fine.
Yeah, it is insane. It really is. Now, I'm not saying the people saying it are. Let me
everybody's
clarify.
Got their conscience.
But Christmas is supposed to be a time of joy. It's supposed to be, as followers of Christ, let me start with this. We're supposed to have a time of rejoicing, a spirit of just wanting to reflect what we see in the Christmas story. And so I'm not saying that there aren't differing viewpoints here, but it is true that when you Google the views on this, I will say that there are people who make a very strong case.
For both sides.
Yes. And I read both and I'm just like, yeah.
I feel like
and then I'm just like, wait.
When there's that much when there's that much confusion about origins, and I saw a special on this the other day, and they were like, the reality is, they had a couple historian guys on. It's really hard to know really what the origins are. We can kind of point out when the kind of traditional Christmas stuff started with the Christmas Story and Charles Dickens and all that. But yeah, this another Christmas movie, Christmas with the Cranks. That started out as this John Grisham book called Skipping Christmas. Great name of that guy, by the way. For someone, he gets really ticked off about, as maybe we all have at some time or another. It gets really ticked off about how commercial it's gotten, how much work it's become. His name is Luther Crank.
Yeah.
It's so good. But so when the frustrations or the excesses of the holiday make you kind of resent and maybe even want to skip Christmas. Now, maybe you're not there, but you do have this nagging sense that it's not where it's supposed to be, culturally or even in your family or relationally, but it's such a rich holiday. One of the things I know you and I love about it, Brad, is how our parents recognized that it's such a rich holiday to potentially show how wonderful this gift is from Jesus, to remind us what it's all about. And there are so many opportunities to do it. So what if we could, instead of canceling Christmas or walking through it with this nagging sense like something's wrong, what if we took our favorite parts of the holiday and make them work for our families in a more intentional way? We can get some real next level Christmas going on.
Yeah, I think that a couple things to remember in this is, like I was saying before, we are supposed to be about rejoicing. The Christmas story, the angels, rejoice, fear not, rejoice. And we're supposed to be people who are rejoicing over this. So if you're going out, you're going to the store, and someone says happy holidays to you and you just snap at them. You're like, it is Merry Christmas. And I'm making a point here. It is, you know what? We get it. We should keep Christ in Christmas.
Joy to the world.
Joy to the world. But we should make sure that we are, of all people, that when people encounter us during this season, especially our families, and that's who we're focusing on, the moms and dads, the grandparents out there, how we should be able to enter into these moments together. I do think of some traditions that are, beyond the tree and everything else. And I want to be clear, before you fire off the email to us, before you do
Someone
that,
already did. You should have said this like 8 minutes ago.
We know Jesus was not born on December 25th. I just want to...
You don't know that.
I just want to clarify, we're not supporting all the different things, but we are wanting to talk about how to celebrate this season. Jesse, one of the traditions that happens in my household, and I'm sure it happens for you, Christmas list from the kids. Now, I'm going to ask you something I've not asked you off air. I've heard
there's a rumor going
that
around.
There is yours.
So
there was a next level list, and I'm wondering, would you share that with us? Because I want to know if this is actually true.
Yeah, is this right?
It's still in process. There's a PowerPoint presentation that's being built as we speak.
Hang on.
Last I checked,
can we stop for a second?
It was 40-something pages. But that was not completed.
Is this your PowerPoint presentation?
No, it is not mine.
Okay.
But it is a member of my family.
A family member. Okay.
I heard...
That's such a great idea. Why haven't I thought of that?
And I was like, I have to be honest. At first, I did laugh out loud, as I just did. But then I realized that I did that just without the technology.
Right.
I would take the catalog.
This is what we did.
I would circle. I would cut
internet.
things out. I would be, it probably looked like those creepy notes you see in movies where I like put it on paper and put the letters next to it and everything. I'm just like, get me this. And so
on the fridge. Those
PowerPoint is
catalogs.
next level, and I have to applaud. I think that effort.
Those catalogs were like 40 pounds, and we would circle, Mom, Dad, these are all the toys I want, just these, and they'd say, kids, this is 406 things that you circled. I'm like, yeah, we need each one
and
of
we're
them.
getting you two.
We're getting you two.
So, Doug, I want to ask you, so we can dive in here. We know that there's a differing views and everything, but I think people get our heart on this, that this is, hey, let's have a make a difference family Christmas here. What would you encourage people with first here?
Well, it's a conscience thing. I would say for Brad and I, our conscience quietly whispers this time of year, it's Christmas, it's time to celebrate.
Quietly.
But I could take it or leave it.
Have you seen my jacket? Again, quietly.
Exactly. You're the celebration type. Just, again, remember you're always ambassadorizing. And as you've heard, if you listen to this podcast, we really start with our families, our spouses, our kids, and then, yes, our neighbors and family members. And so many opportunities to do that. I'm glad we're talking about this. You know what, real quick, James Dobson calls these things, these these traditions that we have, whether they're a vacation place we go or at Christmas or a holiday. He calls them tent poles. And these are things that literally like a tent pole, they're always there. You can build around them, put the tent up, but these are things that your family goes back to decades later and feels warmth and joy and family togetherness. So yeah, let's talk about a couple of things that our family either did growing up or we still do. Let's start with this Jesse tree thing. This was such a great idea. Mom literally got out an Uncle Jesse doll from the Dukes of Hazzard and dressed him up like a shepherd or like a guy would be way back in the Old Testament days. And she made a tree and kind of an ornament for each part of the story that shows us the lineage from Jesse down to Jesus.
And
am I getting that right? I remember and each every day or something, I think we'd hang another one and she'd help us explain.
Cross promotional, but I would encourage people, go check out Thrive in the Mess. That is our sister Lisa's podcast.
Yes,
because she actually has Doug's son Sam on a recent episode where she talks all about the Jesse tree. Yeah. And you should go check that out because it is one of the ways that, as you phrased it, Doug, we can focus on the awesome story. That's really kind of where this all starts, is in our celebrations, focusing on the awesome story that is the nativity story, that is Jesus coming. And the Jesse tree is a great way, one very key way you can do that and bring meaning into these moments.
You know what it did for me as a kid, as I look back, is it helped me realize, this wasn't conscious when we were kids, but it helped me realize Jesus was a real person. To see that he's real. He came from, we see the manger and the baby Jesus, and that's all a wonderful part of the story. But he didn't just appear there, a lightning bolt, but he came from a lineage, and that helped me know that. I also remember as kids, as a family, we would do this family play.
Oh yeah,
and this wasn't just any family play. It was like we didn't go out and buy a bunch of props or anything. Whatever was in the house, man.
No, this is the one we talked about with Dad.
Yes, we
on
talked
the last
about
episode.
this with Dad on the last episode. And the star of this always was Mom.
Yes.
There was some sheepskin big blanket we had that they got somewhere. And she would just, if you came to our house, which a lot of visitors did, you knocked on the front door and we were in the middle of this play, you would see my mom crawling around with this thing on her back, batting. But guess what? Here we go again. As a kid, it made it real to me. It made it memorable to me. And I look back with it with such warmth, feel closer to my mom, closer to my family, because it's just a cool tradition. As we go through these, what we're literally praying, Brad and Jesse and I are praying, is that if you're not really into traditions, maybe you'll think you'll be encouraged to start some that are really meaningful, and maybe you'll hear a couple ideas, or you'll get your own idea that'll pop up in your head or in your heart, because these are so vital and so great at pulling a family together.
Do you think you guys can take me seriously in this jacket? Because if so, I want to.
Why are you asking that now?
I know. I have I have something that I just really...
Jesse had to put sunglasses on.
There was something that hit me in the celebration of this season, the celebration of Jesus' birth, that I'm going to go Greek here for a minute. If you read in Galatians 4:4, it talks about that in the fullness of time that God sent his son. So in Galatians, Paul's talking about the Christmas story, that God sent his son, Jesus, to earth, and it was in the fullness of time. Now, time there is the word chronos, and basically that's kind of time as we know it, time on the clock, time as it goes. And so in the fullness of all that had happened to that point, we were just bursting. The glass had hit the full point, and all of a sudden this tipping point comes where now, the fullness of time, it's time for Jesus. But then you have in Luke 1, verse 20, where the angel says to Zechariah, he says, he's talking about the birth of John the Baptist, but he talks about this time, that time will be fulfilled here. And that is the word kairos. And that's the word for time there. And kairos moment is this meaningful, this exceedingly important moment in time. That's the difference between kairos and chronos.
Chronos is kind of just like time in general.
Yeah, and
kairos is this
kairos
moment
is
in
this
time.
moment in time.
Right.
And when you're looking at celebrating Jesus, I know this is getting, a little deeper there, but when you're looking at celebrating Jesus this season with your family, remember that you are celebrating this moment in time, this kairos moment where not only did everything change, but look at our calendar. It split time between BC and AD. This is a moment that we should be making much of with our family,
making a
that
big
our
deal
children
of it.
should know it's really important. So there should be almost this sober-mindedness to it, but that it is also filled with exceedingly great joy, because that's the message over and over from the angels. The shepherds were excited. The wise men were excited. Everyone's excited about Jesus. So let's make sure we know why we're excited, but that we also let that excitement be seen and known.
Thank you for saying that, Brad. Don't you can have be faithful to what your conscience is telling you. And if you feel like that means either very little celebration, then we're not coming down on that. But don't let people make you feel guilty for just celebrating. The songs and the joy and the presents. Some people give a lot of presents. Some people decide to give one. But the Bible says that the Father, our Heavenly Father, loves giving good gifts to His children.
Yeah.
So when you're giving gifts to your family, especially your kids, and there's like this next level joy, like, oh man, they love it. That's a reflection of the Father's love for you. So don't let anyone make you feel guilty about that. Do we have any more? I want to hear some of your, I know you guys have some really good traditions.
Well, I don't know if this is so much a tradition as far, there's some tied to this. It would be in the mindset of simplifying and prioritizing during this time of year, because I think for me, there's been there's this desire sometimes to do a lot, where it's just like, because
you feel like you're missing out if you don't do it.
It's because I'm excited about things, and it's just like I get all worked up, and it's just like, hey, let's do this, let's do that. I was even this year, I was looking at, man, should we take this trip for a few days? And then I looked at how much things cost, and I'm like, we should not take that trip right now. But I'm looking at all this stuff, and I just realized that I'm in a season of life where I just want to make sure, first of all, that yes, the focus is on Jesus, but then my family is having special times together. So on our table here, we have Christmas cookies, and I would like to point out, did not make them. My wife did.
But you have been eating.
I've been eating them. And I did decorate, as you can tell, the gingerbread men. I
could tell it was you. That's all I'll say.
Easily. But I realized that, man, just making cookies together, or watching that Christmas special, sitting down watching Charlie Brown Christmas together, or a fun Christmas movie, or maybe it's just, hey, taking that time to say, I want to go get coffee with this one of my children. Now, if your children are like 5 and 6, maybe hold off on the coffee. But hot cocoa is an option. But I think that's something for me that to avoid some of the rush and the crunch of things, and just space things out so that you have time to let things unfold, let things come into those quiet moments. Let things come into the joy that you're having as a family.
That's great advice. I remember these moments so much. I don't know what it is about the holiday or like vacations or something about just being really focused with your parents being really focused on you, and making those cookies. your kids are going to remember that, and it's going to seep into their soul and their heart, and they're going to feel closer. Watching the Charlie Brown Christmas special, that is a great tradition. I remember we did growing up. We did Advent, and you can read, just Google it and see how people do Advent. But it's another cool, just lighting a candle the few weeks before Christmas and focusing on the real meaning of this holiday. But I mean, we will at a couple other ideas, couple things that we do. We go around to friends with our kids, and we kind of do a little research to what our friends' kids are interested in, and we get a few gifts. It's not Santa. If you know our last name, I'll tell you the name of the elf. It's touching stuff.
It is.
It's touching stuff with his elves, but it gets the kids thinking more about not what am I getting, but the tradition is we're going to be thoughtful about what we give, and we're going to go do it together, and we're going to focus on others.
If I could say on that, I think that's really important to spend some time focusing on others. I actually have a dream Christmas serving opportunity that I want to do someday. And that is, it would be great even like combined families doing this. There's a place in Chicago area called Pacific Garden Mission.
Oh,
and it's where our great-grandfather, where he found Jesus through a miraculous turn of events, going to take his own life, and heard hymns that his mom used to sing coming from this place as he was walking to the Chicago River. And he went in and he rediscovered Jesus, turned his life over to him.
None of us would be here.
No, and I would love to go serve there someday.
Yeah. We have to do that.
But there are times even not being able to do that, where I think, man, I'm honoring someone when I serve. I'm honoring the Lord when I serve others. But think about those in your life that have gone before you that you're like, man, I want to honor them. I want to do this in honor of them this season, whether it is giving an extra gift to an organization that needs help, or if it is bringing cookies to a neighbor that's lost someone this past year.
We do that for all our neighbors.
All of a sudden to be able to say, hey, I want to love others in honor of Jesus and in honor of family, because then you're showing your children. The reason I mention that is you're showing your children and you're showing your grandchildren also a legacy of a family. Now, maybe you're kind of first generation loving Jesus, but if you've got loving Jesus in your family DNA, man, make sure your children know that even around this time of year that, hey, you hear Doug and I talking about our traditions we celebrate. Now, I will say the Advent calendar, those have gone a little off the rails at this point. I'm not sure what a Lego Star Wars
Did I say Advent calendar?
No, you said Advent.
Oh,
the Advent
I meant like
great.
The lighting. But
I think now there's
Don't
Advent
light the
calendars.
Don't light the wreath.
Now there's Advent
light
calendars
the candles
everywhere, like the lamp, not the rat.
There are
sorry,
so
I had to do it.
Muppet Christmas Carol.
I'm not sure what any
of
these calendars have to do with Jesus.
Now that's true. The Advent calendars are hilarious.
But the Advent
I saw a Minions one the other day. You know those guys from Despicable Me?
Please tell me they weren't doing a manger scene, because that I
better not. You know what? Let's just skip it.
That's
then.
it. We'll keep moving.
I did see a Minions nativity set.
Wow, I don't know what to do with that.
Neither do I.
We'll continue on.
Yeah, that's next podcast.
Jesse, I'm curious, for you, when you think of Christmas traditions and things with your family, how does it hit you?
Cinnamon rolls.
Cinnamon rolls. Wow.
Easy.
Why aren't those on the table?
Yeah. Well, they were. So I am a fan of easy buckets. So free throws, layups. That is hey, my kids know it's cinnamon rolls on Christmas morning. That's like a $1.50. But not just that.
I like that.
That's a simple thing that I can follow through with. But I will say, we have taken a cue from y'all with acting out the Christmas story. We just kind of fell into that. We tried it one year, and what's so funny about it is how bonkers it gets.
Oh, it's
not.
funny.
It's like by the time we get to the end, it's so loud, and everyone is like kind of doing their own thing and like improvising, and
I love it.
You know, it is helpful because we go, this is what this day is about, but it's just a lot of fun, and we just don't take ourselves very seriously. So
can
I
you
appreciate
video
that.
it this year?
No. I don't know what I'll be wearing. Whatever the girls will decide that I'll be wearing. So
that is awesome. I love that.
Let me just touch on something, Brad, because you brought up something really important. This time of year, there are so many lonely people, and loneliness and despair is exponentialized in people's lives because people look around and they go, there are other people, have friends and families. Something really cool that our brother-in-law Rick does is he's got a gift for being able to play the piano. So he goes over to a local retirement community, and he just sits down at the piano and he starts playing Christmas songs. And the stories of joy of the folks there are so amazing. You go, well, he was just sitting there playing the piano. No, he wasn't. He was investing in lives that are desperate for some connection at this time of year. When you serve in that way, not only is the loneliness exponentialized, but the love and the joy that you're bringing is exponentialized. Always be ambassadoring. And your kids see this. Involve your kids. It's never too late to start something like this. Go do something like that with your wife. There's so many things. I want to share one last quick one. Our dad, before we open gifts every year. Now, if you can imagine, there's a bunch of little kids sitting there like, we want to open the presents. We want to open the presents. He'll do this briefly. He knows that there's kids desperate to get ripping into things. But every single time before we start opening as a family, when our family all gets together, he stops and he puts into context for all of us the gift of salvation, that it's a free gift. And we've done the Christmas story, but he is really focusing on the reason we're giving gifts to one another in the first place is this is a reflection of the Father giving us the gift of his Son. And it's only maybe 3 or 4 minutes that he takes, but man, I remember those as a kid, and he's still doing it now, decades later, and our kids are loving it, and we do it with our kids. That's the beautiful thing about traditions is they sew your family together, and it's a beautiful thing.
Look, folks, we know that during the Christmas season that it's going to be a miracle if you've made it this far into the podcast because we know there's a lot of time, a lot of family things going on.
Wait, by the way, this podcast has become a tradition. We do a Christmas podcast just, I think, every year, every season now. I dust off
the jacket and we are ready to go. I think that what we would like to leave you with here, though, is if it sounds like a lot, if it's like, well, I don't know if I can do all those things. Well, don't. Simplify and prioritize, as we talked about. Pick something. Pick something that you're like, if there's one thing that I feel will give my family joy in celebrating Jesus this year, what might that look like? And do that. You have, depending when you're listening to this, you've got a little over a week left till Christmas. It's not too late to have something, either a new tradition.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it's re-energizing an old tradition, but whatever it is, just bring joy into the season and make sure that be the Grinch after the heart has grown 3 sizes. Don't let your face reflect I can't believe we have to do all this stuff. No.
Yeah.
Make sure you reflect the joy to say, man, let's point to Jesus.
Point to Jesus, and if there's a way for that tradition or traditions to also impact someone outside your home, that really needs the love of Christ. See if you can get that sewn in there too.
And if you've been praying for a family member this season, I'll wrap up with this. I won't go into specifics so that the privacy of my children. Some here. One of my children on Christmas Eve, we talk a lot about Jesus. They were a lot younger. And it was we had just gone around. We were with Sarah's family for their Christmas, and they had just shared about the Christmas story. And my one child turned to me, just said, can I talk to you? And we went to the other room, and right then and there, that child prayed and asked Jesus into their heart.
That was Christmas Eve?
It was Christmas Eve.
Oh, man, is that good.
Christmas is a great time.
It is.
To talk about Jesus, and hearts are softer. Make sure you look for those opportunities to not just show Jesus, but tell about him too, and be ready to have those conversations in your own family to point to Jesus.
Guess what? I got engaged on Christmas Eve.
Wow, there we go.
Yeah, not trying to one up.
Well,
not trying to one up. But
I mean,
that
we
is
could
amazing.
let people vote, but
I didn't know. I didn't know that happened on Christmas Eve. Oh, that's amazing. Just makes me love Christmas more.
So, folks, we trust you've got a great Christmas ahead with your family, with friends, whatever plans you've got. So until next time, from all of us to you, go mad and Merry Christmas!